Hey everybody, Matt and
Danielle,
back with you. This probably gives away where we are today. We're not far from Llangollen, we're in North Wales, and you can tell we're in Wales. Look at this marvellous scenery. And on this hill behind us is the ruins of a castle. It's called Dinas Bran. When I was doing my research for this place, I discovered this is potentially one of those places in Wales that has so much folklore attached to it. There is a giant demon, there is a giant eagle, there's a ghostly monk, there's even the possibility that something like the Holy Grail was here. We have a lot to get through, but we have a steep hill to climb. You ready?
no, I'm tired.
Let's go. Okay, so as mentioned, I have got page after page of notes of folklore and stories for this place, and each one could probably be a video on its own, but I think by the time you had your 6th video on Dinas Bran Castle, you'd be switching off. So I'll put everything together in one, and we start by telling you that there was possibly, I think about 300 BC or BCE. Around that time, this was like an Iron Age hill fort, and in 1260 the castle was built here. And although it's been ruined for a very long time, because it only lasted about 17 to 20 years, because the English invaded and the Welsh decided they didn't want this castle falling into the hands of the English, and they set fire to it and destroyed it. So literally, after 20 years, it was a ruin, and that's pretty much what it is today as well. It is a long way up. And Dinas Bran as well, I should point out. Bran we're talking about is Bran the Blessed, not Brian Blessed. That's a very different person. Bran the Blessed is a figure from Welsh myths and folklore, specifically from the Mabinogion, if you know what that is. So we'll get further up and I'll tell you a few more tales at the top. So Bran the Blessed was said to be so tall as a giant that you could just walk into the sea and wade across it. But Bran was said to possess a cauldron that could revive the dead. That cauldron is said to have inspired the legend of the Holy Grail. Now, according to legend, a huge eagle once nested atop the cliffs here before the castle was built, and its wings were said to be the width of the valley, and it had a cry like thunder. It was said to be a guardian of the land here, and would only descend when the fate of the hill hung in the balance, so things like the English invasion. And it also appeared when the Romans marched into Wales as well. It's not been seen for centuries, but some say they can still feel the spirit of the eagle here, living in the clouds, or when a strong wind comes through. Can you sense the eagle?
Not yet.
Not yet. There's lots of flies though. We made it. Castle. Before the Romans came to this hill, before anybody came to this hill, it was ruled by a giant demon known as Gog, and he was a towering, shadowy figure, born of darkness and fire. His eyes burned like coal, and his voice could cause tremors in the earth. He ruled with fear, demanding offerings from the hill folk around here. Sheep, gold, children. Nobody dared climb the hill. The wind that blew here, and is blowing here today, is called the Devil's Breath. And he was said to be the last of the old giants who roamed the earth. A knight named Pain Peveril arrived from the east, sent by the monks of the Val Crucis Abbey, armed with relics and holy water. One night he ascended the mountain, carrying a silver crucifix and a sword dipped in sacred oil. He found the demon sleeping beneath a giant rock. The battle was never seen, only heard thunder, fire in the sky, and the screams of something not quite human. By dawn, the rock was split, and both the demon and the knight were gone. Some say Gog is still here under the earth, the stones of these ruins and ancient rites holding him underground. And sometimes at night there is a red glow seen in the ruins here, which is said to be his breath escaping through the cracks of the earth. So as we mentioned, this castle existed from 1260 to just 1280, but there's also said to be some treasure lying beneath its ruins, and was placed there before the castle existed, and is guarded by enchantments, spirits and a serpent. It's hidden in caverns deep inside the hill. That's not the serpent making the noise. And it's accessible only through a lost entrance and a tunnel. Anyone seeking it must have, though, good and pure motives, because those who come seeking the treasure for their own greedy gain are doomed. Giant serpent is said to guard the treasure, coiled around it, and it speaks in riddles, testing the seeker's intent. And the treasure is said to be power and knowledge and enlightenment, a cauldron of wisdom, the cauldron of Bran the Blessed. Also there is said to be a golden harp that plays itself and reveals hidden truths, and jewels that glow with light. The cauldron is said to open a gateway to another realm. And to seek the treasure for its shine is to be lost in the mist. Those who dig for the wrong reasons disappear, go mad, or are cursed to wander these hills forever.
There are worse things.
True. It's not the only curse, because apparently as well there is a monk and a hollow full of very naughty goblins.
Hello.
So long ago, a monk from a nearby abbey committed a great betrayal. Perhaps he stole some relics or revealed holy secrets. Racked with guilt, the monk fled onto the hill here and vanished. Now, the ghost of the monk is said to be seen when mist falls on the hills, carrying a glowing ember light. Some say he still seeks forgiveness, others that he is cursed to guard what he stole for all eternity. Visitors can suddenly feel emotional sorrowful or dread when they visit the castle, and it suggests that they have been touched by the spirit of the monk. So like I said, lots of folklore attached to Dinas Bran Castle, and there are other things as well. Things like the wind is known to scream, and also if it's misty and people visit in the mist, they lose time. Hours can pass and they haven't realised that time has passed because it doesn't feel as long as it does. But there is still one more piece of folklore just down the hill from the castle in the trees, and we're searching for, or maybe not searching for, the Hollow of the Goblins. So beneath the brooding hill of Dinas Bran is a little place lost to time called the Hollow of the Goblins. This was the place where the goblins would hold revelries, and you could hear their pipes and their music, and if anyone heard it, they would be drawn into the hollow and disappear. They could disappear for a day, for a month, or even 100 years. One day, a young boy called Lolo Pritchard, back in the 18th century, was hunting up here for a lost sheep, and there are sheep still on this hillside today. And he heard the music, and he was drawn into the hollow and vanished. 7 years later, in Llangollen church, a young boy walks in during a service. He's wild-eyed and crazy, but looks like Lolo Pritchard, and he hasn't aged a day. All he says he can remember was music and lights. But the people there, they decided it probably wasn't Lolo, but maybe it was something wearing his face. So if you're ever walking here, and if you hear the music, run away as fast as you can. Don't walk here alone, and certainly don't come walking here in the dark. So there we go. That is some of the folklore attached to Castle Dinas Bran, a castle that's been abandoned for 800 years. Some parts of it still remain today. Which was your favourite story?
The ghost.
Oh, the ghostly monk.
Yeah.
I quite like the goblins, the fairy goblins. I can't think why. Can you? See you very soon for the next video. Take care.